Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is the scene for Empire of Thorns. It's a rather big one, the culmination of several different scenes that have been happening over the past few days. Cade Lee Gallows, it has become aware to the courts after a bout of madness swept through the courts, is a true Fae who took the way of the Changeling. He's been he had been staying in the Spring Court when people began to notice that Spring Courtiers were going mad, up to and inflicting the king consort and the king himself. And he was asked to leave the court under the supervision of the court itself with his adopted son. But obviously, with the presence of a true Fae in the city, even one that had taken a seeming upon himself, there are several questions as to safety and whether this should be allowed. What do they want to do? Do they want to kill him? Do they want to dispatch him? Do they want to exile him? So, Trudeau's has been set up as a neutral ground, as was intended at all time. Several have been called in to where if a fight goes down, there is presence to aid in the effort. But for the most part, they want to try to stick to and engage in negotiations, which is where they are at now. Cade has arrived. He does not have the baby in tow with him when he does. Um, at present as well, there is a man sitting at the table with uh, a tome in front of him and an ink pen across it. The sheets of paper that are in the tome, some are loose, some are bound. He has eyes that look like the Milky Way spread across the darkest night sky, and hair of a pure inky matte black, skin that glows slightly with moonlight, and the power, the very high mantle of the autumn court radiates off of him. It's that fear that one gets in the pitch black of the darkest of nights. And although he wears a very relaxed and neutral expression, one imagines that he could vacillate between a soft smile or a look of subtle rage very quickly. Um, Next to him is the Lord Scrivener of the Autumn Court. He is a much, much older man, looks as though he has seen centuries pass in his eyes and old face. Um, Heavy beard, larger nose, large ears, sitting amongst an almost seemingly ever-present pile of books that seem to follow him around, dust accumulating on his shoulders and patches on his body. When he speaks, it's like the sound between the pages of a book being turned. When William speaks, not that you've heard it yet outside of very soft, it's almost kind of a breathy, echoey, soft, resonating voice, as though you're speaking inside of a cathedral at a whisper. Both men are basically watching, silently waiting, as this incubus sits at the table. He's wearing a pair of leather pants and a leather long sleeve shirt. Very sharp looking style he has going on. His black hair is bound up, pulled. Um, you notice he has a dagger at his hips, but it's piece tied. Um, and he basically sits down and kind of respectfully folds his hands over his stomach, leaned back a little bit, and he'll look at the assembled group. And Maurice first, for the most part, because he is the highest mantled person in the room. And I need you to roll me a die, Kelly, a fate die. Right now, the weird is with you, so your mantle is at 5.
Okay.
Note that. Um, so he'll basically look at the assembled group and kind of nod, and he knows he's been called here for something, so he's not going to pull the whole bullshit, what's up? He's waiting for Maurice to speak.
And when he settles in, Maurice will nod to him. I've asked that you come here so we can find a balance between what you were and what you're becoming now that you're here with us.
I imagine when she turns over the floor to Iris, right? Sorry, I was looking at you.
He will wait for Kane to respond to him before he does anything else.
His response is he's listening, and it's the polite style, not like the fuck you, I'm listening, but the go on.
He'll look to Iris and give her the proverbial floor.
We've decided that I should try and discuss this with you. Not because I know the most about it, because I don't. And not because I'm the most powerful person, because I'm not. But because out of the people that were discussing it, I think I'm probably the one that cares the most about getting everyone out of this, including you, safely and well as possible. And I think we can do that. I think we can find a way to stop the madness from affecting people and to help you become more a part of our world.
He'll tilt his head at her. I need to remember something right now at a game, but I can't. Has he met her yet?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I can do
yes, he's
two characters.
He's met her both at the baby shower and also she was there when they found out what he was and she helped Maurice not freak out.
Mm-hmm. I was just making sure.
Mm-hmm.
He'll just look at her.
Okay. The problem seems to be that in becoming more like us, you've lost the control over your powers that you used to have, because the way you used to control them is different to the way that we control our powers. And the best way to try and solve that so it doesn't keep happening accidentally is to try and put it into the same sort of contracts that we use. At least that's the advice that I've been given and that I think is probably going to stop all of the bad stuff from happening around you.
How do I know that what you're proposing isn't a trap or a trick or meant to bring me harm?
Maurice will clear his throat and look to him.
I'll look over at Maurice.
We're not aiming to take away your strength. We're not aiming to harm you in any way.
You're speaking of taking a measure of my power.
Taking is a harsh word. Exchanging is
Iris.
more.
Iris is going to clear her throat, by the way, just to let you know.
Yeah, you can wait.
Mm-hmm.
It's more of an exchange and control for you.
Why would I do that? He'll kind of look back at Iris.
When you're around people, when you've been around the court, did you like being around people? Did you like the person it helped you to become?
The person that helped me become what?
Do you like the person that being around people caring about you and you caring about them, do you like who that makes you?
I don't know where she's going with it, so she just shrugged.
No, yeah, that's the problem. He looks like he is 100% lost. Like, you're asking a true Faithist question. Like, he literally looks at her as though she is speaking words that are beyond his kin to ever understand.
Yeah, it's the same look on Maurice's face.
When you're around people, you don't mean to, but there's been a lot of people that have been hurt just from being around you. And that's not your fault because you don't mean to. But if you have a choice to not hurt them, and you do, then it becomes your fault. And if you want to be around the people in this city,
are they hurting because of actions I've literally induced in them? Or actions that their madness has induced in them?
if you cause the madness, then people aren't going to be safe being around you.
It sounds like a lot of their problem and none of mine. People's reactions to their madness, you see, that's not my control. I can induce it, but it's always there. The funniest part is everybody wants to be so noble and pretend that they don't have that seed in them. Some people, it flourishes and grows. And other people, they trim it, like those little trees that I saw in Wu one time. Some people allow it to grow like a primordial forest. I just plant those seeds. It's my very essence. What people choose to do after those seeds have been planted, watered, they'll shrug. I hold no responsibility over that.
Rude Boy clears his throat.
Switch her over, like.
Sorry.
Just, if you're gonna talk to Rude Boy, switch her over.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm just.
Rude Boy clears his throat, and he's leaning back with his feet up on the table, and he basically says, "Hey, Bright Spark.
I'm kind of look over at him.
Are you okay with doing this with people, or would you rather find a way to stop it? You're hurting people. You're upsetting them.
No. I'm not hurting them.
Okay.
I'm not upsetting them.
We're not asking you a question. Your presence is hurting people. If you have the option to stop it, do you want to stop it and let people be better off? That's all I got to know. That's the only question I give a shit about. So, are you in or are you out?
What reason do I have to stop it?
That's all I need to know.
Maurice holds up a finger. I can think of one.
I can think of more than one, but I think the main one is probably the one you're thinking of, yes.
And what's that?
Christopher.
Give me a wits empathy roll.
Four.
You see him swallowing softly a little bit. I need everybody here to make some sort. You need to make a wits occult roll.
I suppose lost lore isn't a thing.
No, because this involves the true fact.
Alright.
But you do get bonus 2 for being autumn, right?
Yes.
That's only for like mental
Yeah.
3.
If you're mantle 3 or above, you get bonus for being autumn.
Okay.
Any other bonuses appropriate?
No. This
Cool.
is pure Fey lore, so.
Only got
Yes.
1 at this point.
I got
3 dice for me. Can somebody roll? Thank
Oh,
you.
nice. I got 2.
I've got
Good
2.
lord, Dante.
ST
Okay.
roll for me.
What's
3
your dice?
dice. 3. Is it wits or intelligence?
I got you, Anthony.
Oh, it's 4. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay, about to roll it.
Okay, good.
There you go. Whoa!
Woo! Whoa, the fuck
Woo,
up.
blew up.
Get some. Let's see. Reroll that 10 for you. Okay, that's totally that's for you, Anthony.
Basically, we need to get Dante to do everybody's rolls.
No.
No, never, ever. I don't know what's happening. I don't know if he sold his soul to Satan or what, but
Somehow today I have Johnny's luck.
Yeah, I got 3 10s, so I'd call that a success.
Did you reroll them?
I did.
Okay, you're good to go.
okay. If you have 3 successes or above,
Aw.
No, I only
you're
have
gonna
2.
get different than if you had 2 or below. Shut up. I'm gonna tell you what 2 and below gets. 2 and below gets that his mind is still very much still in the Fey mindset, the true Fey mindset. His mind isn't to that lost, like to that mortal lost mindset yet. Okay. For those who got 3 and above, you are asking a fucking true Fey to give away a measure of his power. He literally does not understand you. Like, you're gonna have to, like, this is the negotiation for a true Fey to give away a measure of his power. This is what the courts are for. This is what your society is about. This does not happen. You are trying to make the impossible happen.
And this is exactly what Iris was going to say differently when she cleared her throat earlier.
Like,
Yeah.
it's a bit of a situation where you can throw anything on the table. You can throw Christopher. You can throw wanting to be friends. You can throw anything on the table. But it's like trying to speak Latin and explaining to someone without any gestures or anything like that they need to take like a medicine pill when they speak Etruscan.
Look,
So.
Stevie Wonder sang about seeing people's faces in the clouds. I think maybe we have a shot.
Exactly. But yeah, you have a shot. It's just you have to understand what you're dealing with. What you're dealing with is asking a true Fey to give away a measure of their power, and that is a lot. So, for those who had 3 and above, it would help probably, like, mentioning Christopher is on the right path, but you have to kind of, you have to bring his mindset and explain things in kind of a more demonstrative or make it less abstract. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I got it. I got an idea.
And make it more concrete.
Like I said, Iris had an idea earlier when she cleared her throat about this. But
Okay, well, Iris, throw your idea out.
perhaps you're looking at it wrong. It's not about giving away your power. It's about controlling it differently.
You must have a gilded cage, you beautiful little songbird. Who keeps you? You think that controlling your power isn't giving it away.
I think,
Kimberly will look towards Maurice and the assembled people of Autumn to see if it's okay for her to say something at this point.
well, Iris was partway through saying something, but
Well, she's getting she's giving the heads up that she's gonna say something. You can
Yep.
keep saying what you're saying. Just
Hmm.
I think that if you have no control over your power, if you don't control your power controls you.
no. Let me explain something to you, little girl. I have control over my power. What the problem is right now is that you and your courts and your people don't have control over my powers. That's your problem.
So you're saying that you're doing this stuff on purpose?
I'm a god of madness. It's my very existence to infuse those around me with it.
But at what cost, Kate?
Iris is going to look to Kimberly to see if she still had something she wanted to say or whether it's already been said.
Kimberly will cough a bit and she'll look towards Kate. I think we're being a little bit too cryptic about what's at stake.
Madness is rather illuminating. I do tend to prefer a more direct approach, yes.
The point that I think the point that to get to the nitty gritty of the situation, if you don't stop doing what you're doing, then Christopher will no longer be yours.
Give me a second to roll something for him.
This is directly harming him. And your
That was
ability.
so fucking important that it was an exceptional success. I can't express to you how important it was that was an exceptional success. It
Yeah.
had to be an exceptional success.
Yeah. It's what Iris was trying to go with the you won't be able to be a part of the court part first.
He'll blink. And it's almost like you can kind of see his clarity settling in a little bit. He'll kind of look down. When I became a god, I wasn't always like this. I was a man at one point. Just a normal man. He'll kind of shrug. I sacrificed myself to take this on to me. To save my wife. I'd rather suffered oblivion than see her harmed. And in doing so, I learned. Really learned that day. Not what love was or anything trite like that, but I understood what sacrifice really was in her eyes. Because of what she would have done for me. What I would have done for her. We spent centuries together. We raised children, our own and others. She passed. And I never could. And I never will. And I've been wandering for so long. Lost. Christopher is the first time that I felt that sacrifice again.
What Christopher needs right now is for the God that is you not to exist.
He'll
What is more important?
swallow hard.
We've all been lost to a greater or a lesser extent, and you've been through so much for so long. And that's the entire purpose of the courts. Well, most of the purpose of the courts is a place to be and to be safe. And if other people aren't safe around you, then you can't belong there. And Chris needs to. So
He'll lean forward and he'll look her right in the eyes and he'll say, right now, from what I understand, you're a very interesting person to be saying that to me.
I dropped. What happened?
How long did you drop for?
Did you hear Maurice speak?
No. I'm sorry.
Awesome. After Kimberly spoke and he swallowed, Maurice said that the uncontrolled reactions to his madness already cost him so much. Us. So much.
Save it for a second then, because save it for 1 second, because Iris basically said that the courts were about kind of protection and stuff like that, and went off on something, and he leaned forward and he basically said, as he understood that she was like the last person to say that to him right now. He just found it very interesting that she of all people was telling him that from what he's heard.
Okay.
And he'll kind of smile at her, like sweetly, and bat his eyelashes. And he'll lean back.
if you don't mind my asking, why?
What?
Why is that so strange?
I don't know. Why don't you ask Liam, Andreas, Draven, and Devin why it's so strange? We're not really here to talk about that, are we? And he'll just grin.
Absolutely not. He looks directly at him like,
You guys can all roll with sympathy for me if you want.
I don't think it's necessary at this point. But like,
Well, no, it is, because there's something going on that is very subtle, and you might want to pick up on through a roll.
4 dice.
Rude boy, what you got? I'll roll for you.
Hang on, what's empathy?
Yeah. You got 1 die. He
Yep.
is he is trying to purposely frustrate people. He's trying to sow strife. That's a True Fae thing. True Fae do that. And
Missed
he's
it.
being catty at people and using. You need to be a little careful around him, because he's going. If you say or do anything that he can snap on to try to anger your character or sow strife, he's going to do it, like he just did to Iris.
I think we both know what it's like to put a lot of thought into trying to figure out what is the best thing to do for somebody else, for our children. And if that takes a while to figure out, then that's what it takes.
Did you spend your endurance in a mirror?
No, there was a mirror involved, but I was not in the mirror.
He'll nod. Okay, that explains everything. He'll just nod as though that explained everything. He's good. He gets it.
And now Maurice will tap the table with his coffee mug a couple times.
He'll look at him.
We're here to discuss you.
Very well. I'll leave your lover's mistress alone.
The madness that you are bringing to my court, to my people. That reaction has already cost you, personally, so much.
He'll swallow a little bit.
Is it a future of loss, of chaos, of disorder, what you wish for Christopher? Is that what she would have wanted?
With Kim will lightly rap on the table, and see if she can speak.
No, she can wait.
Not Maurice. Good God. He'll think. Like you see, it's like you're getting past something in his eyes. You can see something is connecting. You have to be very careful because you're noticing that his madness. He's mad himself. He is a god of madness, and he is mad. If you start sliding around what you're saying too much, you're making him lose his focus. But he does have, again, kind of more when you're talking about Christopher, when you're talking about sacrifice and loss and things like that, that puts him in the right direction. So Kimberly, bear that in mind with what you're about to say.
Okay. Christopher will know pain. He will know suffering without you. If you continue on this path that you are doing, Christopher will not only be without his mother, who is dead because you did this, he will be without you.
And now we roll willpower. And now we pray to God he passes his willpower. No, we thank God he passed his willpower.
Iris is going to clear her throat.
Okay, be warned that he did just make a willpower roll, and although he passed it,
Mm-hmm.
he is angry. So keep that in mind.
You know, and you understand sacrifice, and you understand loss. And you understand that sometimes things have a price. The question is, the very core question in all of this is, are you willing to pay that price? At the end of the day, it's only you that can make that choice.
And you'll leave me and Christopher alone. You won't weaken me and then come after me. And here is where I'm going to be fucking clear that William opens his mouth. William will say, if His Majesty is willing. Indicating Maurice.
Mm-hmm.
There can be a pledge contracted and drawn up that you will not, nor your child, be antagonized by the courts, or the courtless, or the lost of the city. Be considered one of us if you sacrifice this measure of your power. If you want, it can be drafted that this is to last for 7 generations. And if anyone should bring you harm for your previous status as one of the true Fae, that for 7 generations their family should be cursed. Sealed by the word and bound by the blood of the Autumn Court. And his mouth will close, and that light presence that lets you know that he was talking in, so you can continue now.
Christopher will smile. He will be glad that you are in his life. Don't take that from him.
So what am I to do with my powers? Do I just hand them out to the beggar on the street in his cup?
This is something she will look towards Will for. She honestly can't answer that.
Okay. Again, the gravitas. Your powers can be molded by the word into 2 contracts that are fitting of your place. One is tied into the contracts of the moon. And the other is tied into the contracts of the hearth. I can shape your powers into those contracts, but the price would be astounding. What do you have to give? And does anyone wish to help you barter? Have you earned the coin? Your friends here? To do this. And he'll just rub his face. Because normally what they barter with is children, but he's not bartering off his child. So, well damn! And his powers, he can't do that. He's already done that. He'll kind of chew his lip thoughtfully.
You said you would take the coin of friendship. What would that mean?
I couldn't hear you out again. What'd you say?
You said you would take the coin of friendship. What would that mean?
It means that. Hold on. It means that I will accept payment from another. But as I understand it, he'll go through his books and he'll pull papers out. As I understand it, you have already performed this action recently. And he'll put the papers back in the book. Rather charitable, aren't you? It's a noble trait. And he'll smile.
So what is the price that you ask?
He'll look at Cade, and he'll say, "He has yet to give me an offer that I can base my judgment on. And he has yet to come to an agreement with His Majesty." And he'll look at Maurice and give him a nod. "I would remind His Majesty that the choice you're about to make affects not only your court, but all of the courts and the safety of the Fae of this city. This action is unprecedented. To harbor and take in one of the banished and accept them as our own. The Weird has recognized that the Spring Court, for its loss, is holding a decision here that the Winter has acquiesced. But do you understand the weight on your shoulders right now, Maurice Renat?
He'll swallow.
So I'm sorry, go. I'm sorry. Continue.
He looks at Cade and swallows.
He'll look down at the Lord Scrivener, and he'll say, "Do you have anything you wish to add, my lord?"
He takes a deep breath and he says, "Unprecedented is the word that applies well to this, yes. But there is much, incalculably much that we can learn about our ancient adversary from one such as this. I believe it would be in the best interest of the Autumn Court, indeed of all the courts, to facilitate his rehabilitation if at all possible."
"Do you understand, Your Majesty, that these contracts and bindings and pledges will not make him one of the lost? That he will still be one of the banished Fae until, well, there may not be an until. He may always and forevermore stay a fallen god and not He'll think for a moment, because there's no fucking precedence for this, so he has to make it up. He may not ever know our ways and what we are. He may always be an outsider. Some would say it would be a mercy to die. That death would be the better path for him. He's willing to sacrifice this measure of power and to pledge himself to the courts. I'm willing to do this, but I want you to understand this does not make him one of us.
That is something that that I understand, and it weighs heavily on this decision.
The king has given you authority over this situation. The monarchs of the four courts recognize your power in it. The choice is yours. If you wish to proceed and offer him amnesty in our courts, then I am willing and ready to draft the contracts and pledges needed to bring him greater into our fold and make him a safety to our people. If not, then I would suggest that he dispatched from our courts, and that his child, he be given a choice as to where he goes. Though the autumn will not accept this child.
He'll look at Cade. If you choose this offer that I am giving you, will you respect the terms?
I have one question for all of you. Your greatest care and concern is Christopher in all of this, right?
Rude boy kind of scoffs.
Not
Iris is going to nod.
Imagine my position, and where I'm sitting, and what I'm hearing. To point it out, not a single one of you has asked me where he is. Because he's not on me. He'll hold his hands up. Out of game, do you understand what his point is? Or do I need to maybe make some intelligence?
I've been wondering the entire time he's been here. The thing is, do you poke the tiger? Not a good plan.
Kimberly will speak up. If you truly felt that way, then the desperation in your eyes wouldn't be so evident. You care about him even though you don't want to, even though that side of you refuses to.
Rude boy will also speak up, and he says, "Look, I don't want anything bad to happen to a kid, but I'm here to make sure that this goes okay. I'll go looking for a kid after if necessary."
You'll get a sympathetic nod from Kim.
I missed South again.
He basically asked that if everybody was so concerned about Christopher, why none of them have asked where Christopher is. Because he's not with him.
I got up to where Kimberly said desperation.
Oh, okay, there wasn't that much after that, so don't worry about it. He'll look at Maurice. Do you need, like, does anybody need his mindset explained a little bit? Or, because he is coming from a little bit of a point of madness, but it's kind of that lucid madness?
Mhm.
Or do you get what he's saying?
Yeah.
I get him.
Okay.
You said he's looking at Maurice now, though.
Yes, he is looking at Maurice. He wants Maurice's answer as to why Maurice did not ask where Christopher was.
Have we lost?
You are
No.
you are an intelligent man, Cade. Mad you may be, but dumb you are not.
I want the assurance that if anything should happen to me, that you yourself will raise him as your own. You and the king.
I missed. I need the assurance, and then it cut out.
He said he needs the assurance that Maurice and the king will raise Christopher if anything should happen to him.
You have my word.
William will say it will be drafted into the pledge. He'll look down again. He clutches his jaw very tight. Can I be considered into the Spring Court? Can I be admitted into the Spring Court and Christopher recognized as a ward of the court? You knocked out, Kelly?
No, I'm here.
Oh, he's thinking.
Um,
Okay.
Yeah, he's thinking.
Let me know if, because of what you're going to, let me know if Maurice is thinking.
Yeah. He's thinking. He kind of tilts his head to the side.
It's Claudio's authority, by the way, that decides that.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, love you. You don't
Yeah,
have
that's why
that authority.
he's like, wait, that's not the choice. I know I'm getting a lot.
codes.
I know I'm getting a lot of things thrown at me to decide, but this isn't one of them.
That is not one of the things your character has. This is what is presented for you. This is not something your character has the authority to decide. Claudio is the one who decides who enters and the Spring Court. That is the literal job of a Circe.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you fine.
Yay! He thinks for a second, and then he gets a wait. Not my circus, not my monkeys look. I can give my recommendation to the High Ceres, but that is not my direct choice.
Iris is suddenly going to perk up slightly. Do you want me to go ask him?
I need to hear it myself.
Would you like to go get him? Maybe?
This is the modern age, people. You can call him out of game.
We could,
Yeah.
but
Iris's plan was to go call him outside, discuss, brief him on the situation, and then get his opinion. Yeah.
It's the 10th. It's so close to 12th night.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. This is okay. Maurice,
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
you want Claudio to come, or are you going to call him?
we will call him.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you want to call him, or do you want Iris to call him? Because you did offer to go outside and do that while you carry on discussing.
It's
He's not going to discuss anything else until that's done. So you just call him yourself.
it's
Put the man on speakerphone.
yeah.
Okay.
he'll answer. He'll say hello. You'll brief him of the situation.
Yep.
He'll say, if he is willing to assure that Christopher is a ward of the court, then I will accept him into the Spring Court. I imagine the sigh of relief that goes around the fucking table. Is that all?
That was all.
Thank you. Goodbye. And he'll hang up. He's busy, so.
Yeah.
So Cade will settle back a little better, kind of a little more chilled out. Okay. He'll kind of touch his lip. Well, let's talk pledges and contracts now. Which first?
Well, Iris, for one, is going to glance to William to see whether he plans on taking over at this point.
He's letting Maurice decide which one they discuss first. Once he knows which one they discuss, then he can continue.
I'm sorry, what?
Cade wants to know which you're going to discuss first, contracts or the pledge. It's on you. Which one gets discussed first?
He's going to look to William and kind of shrug.
It's on him. He's letting him decide. He's letting him decide. Which one happens first doesn't matter to him.
Okay, that's the question he had.
Wisdom, you'll get in his eyes that wisdom dictates the pledge first, so he's not giving up a measure of his power without that pledge being in place. So that's his silent input. You want to do pledge first in the contract.
Okay, yeah. So Maurice will say the pledge first.
So William will pull out a length of paper and a vellum and screw his pen off and kind of run it. It's a fountain pen. And he has his pen waiting over the paper. I need the assurance that no harm will come to Christopher or me from my position as a former member of the Lost. If I fuck up or fuck off and somebody wants to come after me for it, fine. I accept that. William will speak and he'll say, sorry, let me drop my thing. He'll say, the courts cannot assure your protection. What they can do is assure that they will protect you. Is His Majesty willing to offer that?
Yes.
The Autumn will back that. Lord Devon, and he'll look up and look over. Will the Summer back that? And Lord Devon will nod. Yes. And then he'll look over at Draven. Actually, Draven is high enough to make that decision. He'll look over at Draven, and he'll say, Lord Draven. And he'll look up, and he'll say, will the Winter back that? He takes a little bit longer. He thinks on it for a moment. And he'll nod. We have an accord. He'll kind of raise his glass at him, and he'll nod. The four courts offer protection to you and your child, although we cannot assure that you will not be harmed for your previous state. We will offer you what protection can be offered. I need you all to make me wits occult rolls.
Do it, do it, do it. 4 dice.
The Lord Scrivener can make this roll, by the way.
Okay.
And add 4 dice.
You had, let me see. You said add 4 dice to it?
Yeah.
I've got 2.
Okay, you have 3 successes. Okay. If you had successes, you might want to put a caveat on the amount of damages there. You don't want to leave it open to where if he comes into any, like the insurance of, your landlord will fix anything broken up to $100. Or you're responsible for up to $100. You don't want to leave it open that that the courts, you don't want to leave it open that the courts will protect him and Christopher. Like, it has to be within reason. Like, there needs to be a limit to what the court is responsible for protecting him in that chat. So, it's not that, and this is where you need to be careful, okay? The Lord, the Ashen Notary did not say that. There may be a reason he didn't say that. It may have not been addressed yet, but this is where you could word things to the Ashen Notary where you could shoot yourself in the foot with him. So if you choose to input right now, be careful.
Maurice will look to the Lord Scrivener.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I didn't notice all them successes.
He is the damn Lord Scrivener. What did you expect?
Did you reroll your 9s, by the way?
No, I rerolled my 10s.
I think as an archivist, you can reroll your 9s, too.
It's on academics and investigation rolls, so I don't know if.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that was a cult roll. Okay.
Well, yeah. I really think.
Well, but you
should
only
put that
still have
on
like
the call.
9,000 successes, so it's okay. Go on. The Lord Scrivener has been looked at.
Yes.
Lord Scrivener, there's a loophole in the contract, and apparently they want you to fill it.
Okay.
Well,
The loophole is that right now the four courts just offered
Infinite protection?
infinite protection.
Yes.
That needs to be clarified.
we offered protection. What level of protection needs to be quantified?
I have to pee very quickly, by the way. Keep talking, and I'll catch up when I'm listening. I can hear you guys.
The Lord Scrivener clear his throat and shamble forward, which, considering up until today, probably none of you ever saw him outside of the Autumn Court.
Nope.
He's actually moving around.
Yep, this is important.
And he will launch into a complicated, legally diatribe, basically, incorporating, malice aforethought and ipso facto and such and such in the third degree and blah 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 blah. And I mean, just spell out everything.
I'm just gonna say that Soren with 3 dots in academics and 3 dots in intelligence can keep right up with him.
The battery can only get so hard. Oh my god.
Wait, what?
I said, I'm just saying the Ashen Notary can only get so hard, and you just gave him a squeakasm.
There's a reason he's the Lord Scrivener.
Your presence in this scene, if only for that, was justified.
Yeah. He is,
So,
yeah.
the caveat that is put in place by the Lord Scrivener is what? Like, what is his... What are the terms? I need concrete terms that can go on this piece of paper.
The first and most obvious one is that he will not be protected from anything he has brought upon himself.
Okay.
In other words, if he goes out and starts fucking with people, we're not covering his ass.
Good job.
Next, there is a situation of such protection is expected to be reciprocal, meaning that if the courts have need of Cade's assistance in protecting themselves, he is expected, unless they brought this thing demonstrably on themselves, he is expected to step forward and help as well.
Okay.
Let's see. Honestly, I think those are the only two things that the Lord Scrivener would want to put into it. Granted, I mean, because his point, and it's entirely possible that Soren is the only one who really understands.
I need to ask a very important question.
Yes.
Does Iris actually point that out? Does she say that?
No, I was thinking it's something that Lord Scrivener probably would have thought of.
Okay.
It's
like right now, all input has to essentially be on the character themselves. It is extremely important that unless she puts that out herself, that it come directly from the person, because of how tricky this contract is.
Wait, I'm sorry. Can you say that again? That was.
I'm saying no out-of-game input because of how complicated,
okay.
important this pledge is. Anything that's offered needs to be in character.
Okay.
Well,
I'm sorry. That's for everybody, across the board.
Okay, well, I'm waiting for him to finish, so.
The Lord Scrivener is basically going to say, obviously it's, his whole point in all of this, is, again, Soren may be the only one who understands it clearly, is either we are forming a bond of protection or we're not, and if we are, then we have to treat him basically as we would treat any other one of the lost. We have to be willing to help him even in dire circumstances.
Okay. So the Ashen Notary will nod at that, and he'll leave the table open for input.
At that point, Soren actually moves, breaking his perfect stillness. He'll just kind of raise his hand, and if anyone looks at him, he takes up the room now.
The Lord,
which is very weird.
Yeah, the Ashen Notary will look at him.
And he'll say, "If I may be so bold, and I apologize if I have missed this critical detail, forgive me. Have we set a duration on this particular pledge yet, my lords?"
Went to the 7th generation, the agreement?
Yeah, the Ashen Notary will confirm and say, I am willing to offer 7 generations of protection in this pledge.
At that point, Soren will nod and he'll say, "Yes, very well. I apologize for my misunderstanding."
William will open the floor up so that if anybody else on this specific caveat of protection, and who the courts will protect him from, you get the feeling that that's all William's going to listen to right now. So, as long as what your character wants to say involves that, Kimberly.
It was just going. I don't know how to word this elegantly, but would the essentially his it's gonna come out in a jumble because I don't know how to word it, but basically would the protection just be towards this individual and not any of his associates? Does that make sense to him?
Yeah, it does, yes. He'll, the Ashen Notary will consider for a moment, and he'll say, I will consider this protection granted to Lord Lee Gallows, his child Christopher, any future children he may adopt or have naturally. And any one person that he ties himself to in bond.
Is there a reason why he left out Nilfane?
That would be, he has a choice as to whether he wants to bond Nelfane or someone else.
Oh,
That's why he left that part open.
gotcha.
Iris is going to raise a hand.
I'll look at her.
We can speak about protecting him from any enemies he might have here for what he is. But we don't know how many enemies he had before he left. Is that something that has been considered or should be considered?
I need you to be a bit clearer in what you're trying to say, dear.
The other Fae, the other true Fae. Obviously,
Yes.
obviously we will try and protect any of us from them, but there is a limit. There is a limit to how far most people will go, and that is something that should be considered, I think.
I need occult rolls all around.
Roll it 4.
Wits or intelligence?
Wits occult. Actually, intelligence occult.
Lost lore?
Intelligence occult.
Makes no difference to me.
Yes, actually, yes, very much so lost lore. Like, super much lore lost lore. Dante, roll for him, and I need to PM you, Dante.
Okay, hang on. I'll open it first.
I've got 3 successes.
I'll be right back. By the way, I gotta grab something.
Rude boys got 1. Okay, who else am I rolling for here?
That's it.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm making a roll. Oh, hey, get it. Okay. If you have successes on that roll, I have to shut the door. Hold on, wait. Dante's door open. Wait a second. I'm trying to think of how to word this. Dante,
Yes.
can you think of a way to word this as to why the Ashen Notary looks very confused right now?
To be fair, I did roll 3 successes, so if there's an answer to this that Iris would have known, she wouldn't have asked the question. But
No, that's not what it is. It's knowing why the Ashen Notary looks so confused right now.
Um, how about this? The Lord Scrivener will very gently put a hand on Iris's forearm, and he'll say to her, "My dear, that's the very purpose for which we exist. Although I understand your concern, the courts are nothing if we do not protect one another from the depredation of the gentry."
I know, and that's why I think it's important to include it, but also to point out that, for example, if one of the monarchs was taken, we'd do everything that we could to get them back, short of selling half the court to the bay to get them back. We try very hard, but there's a limit on it. I mean, obviously, I don't know as much about everything as you do and as Mr. Star Eyes does. I mean, I've only been back just over 2 months, but I think saying that we would put as much effort into protecting him from the True Fae as we would anyone else is different to saying that we would do everything to protect him or that we wouldn't protect him.
He nods.
The
Is fair enough?
Okay. The Ashen Notary is going to speak. He's going to look at Iris and he's going to say, "Miss Weft, you are to seek lessons with the Lord Scrivener on court structure. And he'll look back down at the paper and write, He's writing that into the contract.
Oh shit.
Which part is?
Oh.
Wait, Johnny. Which part is he writing into the contract?
That's what I'm about to say. He'll say, he'll think on it for a moment. He'll kind of tap the pen to the paper very softly as he's weighing the wording of it, crafting this pledge. He'll say, "Your protection will extend under the same bonds of fealty that are offered to all members of the Spring Court."
Okay.
Although I do believe, off record, it should be noted to His Majesty, for both benefits, that Lord Lee Gallows might present a unique case for your court. Are you willing to accept that?
We will accept his unique circumstance.
So the common bond of fealty and the protections offered therein of the court, he'll write that into the pledge. Lord Lee Gallows, you will take no action against the courts. It would be deemed privateering, loyalist, that of the True Fae, and if your... He'll shake his head and consider the words. If your actions prove to be in line with those of the gentry, outside of what is considered the norm, the bonds of fealty, then your bond will be considered void on your end. And he'll nod. I agree to that. He'll write that into the contract. And he'll look over it. and he'll think on it. He'll look over it. He'll think on it. And as of right now, it holds in a bond of fealty and a bond that a pledge to the Spring Court. It extends to Claudia. I'm sorry, it extends to Christopher and his children and one bonded person. There is a bond of coffee. There's a bond of coffee. There's a bond of no harm intent. He'll not be harmed for what he was. What he does from this point out, that's it. He also will control his powers. He'll write in and he'll say, you are to control your powers under and sacrifice your powers and form them into ones that comply with the powers of contracts, the weird, and the lost. And not seek out any future powers, contracts. And he goes, I mean, this man rattles off a fucking list of stuff not available to the Fae, or to people who are not, basically. He rattles off a list that's essentially only available to, like, true Fae, and, like, not available to Lost. And basically pins him down to where it would be only powers the Lost can display. To that, Cade will nod. Including the current powers that you have. Which you are agreeing to pay the price to have shaped. Either through your own or coin of effect. And he'll nod and say yes. Okay. So, with that, that'll actually wrap up his pledge, unless the Lord Scrivener, the Ashen Notary will again open up the floor for any other caveats and addendums. Specifically looking between Maurice, the Lord Scrivener, and that, to be honest, that's about it. He's looking at the higher mantled characters.
If he breaks this pledge, Christopher is to be mine and King Ferran's.
He'll nod. You notice that makes Cade's jaw go tight, but he'll nod. And he'll basically draft out the pledge, write everything down. Everything that's been spoken of, done, like, part of, all that good stuff. And he'll slide it over for Maurice to read.
Maurice will read it.
It basically outlines that he is not to be harmed, judged, or on a court level he's not to be harmed, judged, or it's not to be held against him in discrimination by the courts that he was once a true Fae, and that that he is to be offered a protection of fealty, with specifically harm coming to him because of his position being under the aegis of the court's protection, which it would be anyway under an oath of fealty, but anyway, it's specifically written out. And that he, in turn, will also avail himself to aid the court if it is called upon. This is not a one-way street, within reason, under the oath of fealty. It is the oath of fealty to the Spring Court itself, for himself, Christopher, any future children that you have, or that he has, and one other bonded person, either a spouse, someone that he cares about, blah 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 blah. After that, it is that if anything should happen to him, where he is no longer able to care for Christopher, Maurice and the King will care for him. If he breaks his bond, Maurice and Ferran will get him. They can take him from him. The last bit is that he will not seek out any contracts or powers that are not available to the Lost. And that any contracts and powers that he currently holds will be either essentially given up, as in they are no longer available to him, or that they are shaped into contracts and powers that are recognized by the Lost and the Weird as powers of the Lost. So, That is the full contract and pledge in whole.
Okay.
So, Kate will look over it too, and he'll nod. Lord Scrivener's being showed the contract. He approves of it. So the pen will be passed to Cade, and he will sign it. You notice that when he signs it Cade Lee Gallows, and next to that he signs it Asar the Mad. And he'll slide it over to Maurice.
And he just signs it with his name, and that's it, because technically he doesn't have a title yet.
You do, actually.
Oh. What?
You're rocking your Mantle 5 right now. The weird
Oh.
accepts you as...
Okay.
For right, and this, you're lucky right now it accepts you, because you can throw your title on there.
Okay, so right now I will put my title on it.
The Lord Scrivener is passed the writ.
You will, of
Sign
course.
as the witness.
You can sign
Huh?
off on
Okay. And we'll get back to that Ashen Notary, and he'll pull out the seal, and he will notarize it, seal it, and recognize the contract as being official. And 1 second. One quick second. Okay. One more second. When he seals the contract, and when all things are said and done, and the word recognizes now that Cade is a member of the Spring Court, you feel a pulse off of him of light and life and of a very strong pull. Any of you can roll your clarity to figure out what just happened.
7 dice.
Okay.
2.
Again, no, you got one, Boo Boo.
1 success on the clarity, but
Okay.
also think I've got some stuff that can help me understand this stuff. Just a sec.
Has everybody rolled up?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry?
I just need to know if everyone rolled.
Clarity roll, Tim.
Yes.
Oh,
the clarity
sorry.
roll. The sense magic.
Gee.
Good God, sir.
Benefits of Kavanaugh, high clarity.
So here's the deal. A very interesting complication. But it makes sense with the amount of power that just got like shoved into by the weird. He's got a mantle of 5.
Oh, Jesus H.
Yeah, his mantle rating is sitting at a 5. That doesn't necessarily mean he's the king. The king is sitting at a 6. He just very suddenly became a very powerful member of the court. Like, with no back whatsoever. Like, no knowledge of what he's doing.
Wait, who did?
Cade.
Cade,
is now
okay.
Just accepted the mantle, like, the spring onto himself.
Mm.
The weird and the mantle having to filter out so much power, it's showing through as a mantle of 5. And he literally has no, like, you just gave mantle 5 to a person who does not understand what happened. Great power, great responsibility. The radioactive spider just bit him. He doesn't have any contracts right now. He doesn't have anything. He's just sitting there basically kind of blinking with a lot of spring energy flowing off of him.
Maurice just, his face hits the table. Forehead, thunk, right on the table.
Like I said, it makes perfect sense, actually, if you think about it. But
It does, but it's
say,
not something that it is not something that I'm ready to deal with right now.
Are you
this is above my
okay?
pay grade, this is above my pay grade, this is above my pay grade.
Yeah, Soren's just like, yeah, well, I mean, this is a true Phage One court. This is what he's saying to himself.
Mhm. Are you okay? And Iris will kind of look between Maurice and Cade.
I'm really, really lightheaded. It's like everything's moving way too fast.
Maurice sits up.
Shake.
Maurice just sits up and blinks a couple times. Dude, Andre!
Of all the people you just called. He'll just fling the entire bottle of whiskey at you.
And he just
Sails through the air.
And he'll catch it and just open it up and start drinking it like it's a bottle of water.
Drove the king to drink. Amazing.
Okay.
Iris, my darling, do you notice something different about our friend?
Yes?
I didn't expect that to happen.
You didn't?
Nope. Nope, not at all.
Can I get some of that over here? Just gonna be honest. Like, that's not William, my God. William wouldn't talk like that. Can I get some of that over here? I just need a little bit to just kind of get me through this right now.
He hands him the bottle.
I'm not being funny. This feels very strange, and I don't feel well. I'm really, really. He's like shaking.
Do you want some cookies?
No.
Was that a yes or a no?
He says no. No, I don't want anything right now. I just want to go home and go to sleep. And then William will say, unfortunately, you are contractually obligated to sort through your contract.
Yeah, Maurice hands him that bottle and passes
He'll
it.
drink it like, oh God, I'm gonna hug this now. So, the Lord Scrivener will look, the Ashen Notary will look down at the Lord Scrivener.
Mm-hmm.
We have 2 contracts. Let's think about it for a moment. We have 1 set of powers that needs to be molded into 1 contract. My dear man.
Yeah. I'm certain it can be done with relative ease.
Mayhap you have a recipe for it on you.
Mm-hmm.
Mayhap you have a recipe on it for you.
Yeah, of course.
We'll wait for it.
We'll set to work helping Cade figure out what to do.
Okay. There does need to be a price paid, which is now what's on the table. So look up.
Who are you looking to?
He's just looking up. Like, he's not looking at anyone. He's just waiting for somebody to tell him what price is going to be paid for turning True Fae powers into the contracts of Moon.
Cade?
Yes.
I think he wants to discuss the payment now. Are you feeling okay?
Maurice just pats Cade's shoulder.
I needed so bad to succeed that role.
Everyone's so glib and egg.
I needed so badly to succeed there. She's pregnant! Yes! She's pregnant! Oh my god, yes! He literally looks, just his face, there's so much happening on his face. And then you remember she's pregnant. And he'll look back at her and he'll say, "No, I'm not okay." I don't know what to pay with.
Well, I have an idea if you want it. I don't know if it's what he has in mind, and I don't know if anyone else will give you any suggestions, but if you want it, I do have one idea.
Go ahead, tell me. I'll take another sip of this alcohol.
Information. I mean, it was already discussed earlier that you can tell us a lot about the True Fae and how they work, and help us learn about how to get people back from them and all of that stuff. So you have that.
The Ashen Notary will look down at the Lord Scrivener, basically saying if he thinks that that's a comparable trade.
I believe that's an excellent trade.
Lord Lee Gallows, are you willing to trade being a consultant to the courts, to the four courts, on matters involving your state in exchange for these contracts? At a game, I'm not even gonna make you fucking roll for it. The one problem that can arise from that is it makes him a huge fucking target against other Fae. Like, oh my god. Like, oh my god.
Yep.
Sounds like a whole lot of his problem.
Nice, Dante!
Get that cold iron ready. Get that cold iron ready.
Sounds like a whole bunch of them courts problems, too.
Sounds like a whole lot of my problem.
Yeah, that's a whole lot of the courts problem, too.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of those problem there. But it is something that he has that he can pay for this contract with.
That's a whole bunch of plot to me.
Yeah, I know. That's what Kate is trying to consider. What her suggestion is, and that's why he's contemplating it, is because is he about to literally null and void the fucking contract he just made by doing that? Like, he just made a pledge that he basically wouldn't take any action that would bring undue harm into the courts.
Ah.
So if he takes on if he trades that, although it is a good suggestion, in practice it could mean that he basically just agrees that he's going to bring down the wrath of the True Fae onto the courts. So he's kind of stuck. Meaning that although in theory it's a good idea, it may not work with the contract that you just crafted. You follow me?
Okay. Does Iris follow this? This is the question.
Probably not.
Can Soren follow this with his astounding amount of knowledge?
I mean, okay, you guys can follow it if you make rolls. That's the problem. You have to make
Okay,
rolls.
so what kind of rolls do we need to make?
Occult.
Okay, let's do it.
He literally, yeah.
I'm assuming Lost Lore counts into this?
Yes, of
Wits
course.
occult or intelligence occult?
Wits occult.
Also, I'm spending willpower.
That's fine.
I got 3.
Yeah. Okay, like I said, although a very good suggestion, it could literally be undoing. It could conflict with the contract he literally just made.
Soren will just kind of raise his hand again, not wanting, because he kind of sees another small loophole through that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Iris has another one, but you go ahead first.
So he'll say, rather than being forgive me if this is too short-sighted of me, but it seems that the way that payment would work is he would essentially he may in fact be violating the pledge that we had worked so hard to come to terms with. by being a informant of sorts.
Then what we can craft the contract to is that his knowledge extends to fairy, his own experiences as a true fae, and of magics beyond himself that do not conflict with the true fae.
Or, just as another possible suggestion, we get him to write down as much of it as possible, and then he's not a target the books are.
Soren just nods and points at Iris.
Or if he doesn't want to, he could just simply learn by example, probably taking an apprentice. Not just because it feels like something like that shouldn't be written down. You either know it or you don't.
There are hobs that can transfer memories.
Getting more people involved in this very delicate situation seems like a terrible idea.
I'm just giving options.
Any sort of information that Cade could give us could be like a lightning rod for the Gentry.
Obviously, it's clear that this option needs to be off the table. Let's look to another form of payment.
If I may once again,
I'm willing to hear your suggestion.
an experience that I had in my durance, my lord, was to get the abilities that I gained. Things were taken from me. Things intrinsic to me, I suppose. The first thing I lost was the magnetism that everybody had. The way that your hair can stand on end when someone gets close enough to touching you. The other thing that I gave up was the gravity that my words held. If Cade is willing, I believe this can also be an adequate payment, but I don't know how much he would be able to give, or how much he would have to. That is far beyond my realm of experience.
Lord Lee Gallows still retains his ability to evade death. If he were to give this up, this contract could be complete.
Out of character, I'm sorry, what was it he said?
Cade right now has the ability he's immortal.
Okay.
One of his god powers is that he was immortal, and he still has that power.
Okay.
If he gives that up, he'll write the contract.
Okay, because the thing Soren was suggesting was attribute points.
No, I know, but this one's pretty serious. You're taking true Fae powers and shaping them into contracts.
Yeah.
But he'll do it for that. He'll look over at him, and he'll say, "Will you trade that?" Maurice. Anyone can make the roll, but Maurice is going to be up 3 die because his mantle is. You have the mantle to understand this.
Okay.
Like literally, this is your same mantle. So, all of you can roll wits empathy.
Plus my mantle?
Yeah.
Is this on Cade?
Yeah.
Me
Four dice.
throwing 2 glamour into the dice pool.
4 dice.
Wow, I hate my life. Alright.
Oh, I'm so sorry, honey. Let's hope somebody else scored high.
I've got 2 successes.
Okay.
I got 3.
Okay. Cade
Somebody,
is...
ro-
Okay. Oh, go, honey. Go ahead. What do you want?
somebody roll 4 dice for me.
Okay. Ooh, baby, look at that.
I think he gets it.
Yeah,
She gets it, rather.
he gets it. Okay. It's whichever one of you decides to take action first. The mantle hitting Cade is hitting him so hard. You need to make damn sure he really understands what's being said here and like what's going on, because he's really confused right now. And he's very like, this is all so new and he's so out of it that that he's not really kind of, you just have to really make sure he understands what's being said to him right now.
And especially Maurice needs to really make sure he understands, because he's just agreed to protect him like one of his court.
Exactly. So, proceed. He is about to trade his immortality for this. That's pretty heavy. It is acceptable. That's actually not a bad term. Just, you need to make sure he understands what he's doing.
Hold on.
Since, can I make a suggestion?
You can, sure, yeah. I mean, you're free to.
I'm just saying, since Kelly seems a little flustered, can we, since we both got the same amount of successes, can I maybe help her out?
Sure. Yeah, you definitely can help her out, because Maurice is basically like, oh god, right now.
Okay.
I was gonna
He's holding
do
his shit
something,
together. I think
but
that's
whatever.
more. Yeah, he's holding his shit together. It's more just a situation where I think Kelly's having technical dramas that are making things a little slow for her.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I've been trying to like be like, hey, I wanted to.
Okay. Do you mind if Anthony? Do you mind if Maurice throws out what he's going to say
go ahead.
first? No,
Go ahead.
I'm asking if Anthony minds if you say what you're going to say first.
No, I'm.
Oh,
saying,
absolutely not. Like, I'm...
Yeah, go, Boo Boo. Floor is yours, Boo Boo. Go. Kelly, Boo Boo.
Alright.
Boo Boo.
Okay.
So
So,
go, Kelly, Boo Boo.
I'm telling you to let Anthony speak.
Oh God. I don't care
so
who
who
talks.
can speak? What is phone?
You speak.
But who was phone?
Fuck me running,
All right.
Anthony, speak.
Kimberly, you start. You start.
Okay. She'll look over at Cade, and this is what's going to happen. You are no longer going to be able. You're not going to have the same. Your life is finite right now. Do you understand what that means?
His eyes go huge and he blinks because he has literally never, ever had that presented as something that was a case. Death has literally eluded him throughout his entire existence.
You can die of natural causes.
The
If
blink.
if that's a payment you pay for this process, live with for a long time. But we can still keep trying to think of other ones if you want to.
Or I can finish my thought, whichever you prefer.
If I die, is there a chance that I might see my wife again? If I die.
She'll look towards the more seasoned members of the court. You have literally said something she does not comprehend.
Yeah,
Nobody fucking knows, but there's a chance. Of course there is. Nobody fucking knows.
Kimberly will shake her head, yes, there is a chance.
Maurice will look to Iris. Your court, your deal. darling? Is there...
I don't know. None of the ghosts that I've ever seen seemed like they were from over there, so I don't know.
Think of it this way, Cade. You will be sharing in a lot of the same experiences as Christopher. It will make your time together seem more valuable. More every day will be more precious.
You guys can make empathy rolls again.
4 dice.
Hey, I'll roll them for you. Sorry, Boo Boo, you didn't get any.
Fair enough.
Soren's got two.
That's his.
2? Okay.
I just got 1.
He understands. He's got it. Major points. He's good. He'll look at the Lord Scrivener and at the Ashen Notary, and he'll nod. I am willing and offer my immortality for my powers to be reshaped. And he'll the Ashen Notary will nod. He'll get a measure and a feel for what he's dealing with. In the next action I perform, if there are any interruptions, regardless of what you see or what happens, if you do not have the stomach to allow this to pass, leave the room now. I will give until the count of 5. If you are sitting here after that, and you interact as I perform my casting, there will be dire consequences. Is that understood?
Iris is going to pat Cade on the shoulder, sort of comfortingly, and then is going to make her way to the bathroom. Because being pregnant, she's been kind of needing to pee for the last 5 minutes anyway, so...
He'll count down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. He'll begin writing things down. Cade Lee Gallows, you are forfeiting your right to immortality and live the common span of one who has the essence of the Fae bound into their soul as lost. For this you are having your powers of madness reshaped into that of the cycles of the moon, the contracts bound therein of. Do you agree? He'll look up and I'll say, yes, I agree. I must draw this power out of you to reshape it, and it will be painful. And he'll nod and kind of steel himself. And he'll say, arise. Case will stand up, and he'll stand up. And you see his eyes. They'll go to a spot that's a little bit clearer, and you see his eyes begin to cycle with color, as though galaxies are passing in front of them. The air thrums with power for a moment, as a pulse goes out, and the room darkens a bit, as though night is casting outside, although it's in the middle of the day. The lights flicker and then flash off as the candle lights in the room heighten. And you see Cade twist and kind of cry out in pain and fall to his knees as his skin begins to glow very slightly. As he is writhing on the floor in pain now, and the light falls off of him, he begins to cry out madly. It's literally howls of madness. As his soul fights to hold on to his powers, as the Ashen Notary grits his teeth and speaks words himself in the high tongue of the lost, pulling this energy from him. I need you all to make willpower rolls. Except for Iris, who's in the bathroom.
Sweet.
I'm good. Hopefully.
Five.
I think you're
Uh,
like 5, isn't it?
Yeah, 5. And I'm doing like the Herf thing. They're like, grit. Hold on.
Okay. Because you're gonna need it. Okay. Maurice, you got 2? Lord Scrivener's fine. He's probably sitting there fucking I've seen this before.
Taking notes.
Taking notes, good.
This ain't even like the 60s, man. That was the real shit.
That howl of madness that rings out of him is a literal howl of madness, and it beckons and harkens your own crazy, as it were. Pulling all of the things that weaken you to the forefront of your mind. But all of you actually grit your way through it. As this is going on, you notice a ball is forming in the air from the energy he's pulling off of him. And you notice that it pulls tight together and then basically kind of, it pulls tight together to like a little bitty point, and then it expands back out, taking the shape of the moon in front of the Ashen Notary, going through its cycles, going through the moon cycles. He'll touch this ephemeral moon, and his hands will begin to work, speaking words into it, forming it into the contract itself. And he'll walk over to Cade and go behind him, grip the back of his shirt and tear it open. And he'll take this moon, and with his palm he'll press it between his shoulder blades. And you see Cade lose conscious. He passes out. But you see across his shoulder blades, in both the waxing and waning stages with the full moon the center to his spine, you see the moon phases in a very beautiful silvery ink. And the Ashen Notary will settle him, kind of turn him onto his side. He'll regain consciousness. And he'll go and he'll sit down. And he'll look at Maurice and he'll say, I need you to sign the contract in his stead. And pass it over to him.
And he'll look it over, just making sure everything's right,
Is all right.
and signs it.
Okay. He'll take it back, sign it, notarize it, pop it in his books, and he'll smile. It's a very soft, subtle smile, very similar to the one in his overlay. Do you require anything else of me, Your Majesty?
He tilts his head. No, but I would like you to come over for dinner. Some night.
Tuesday, 8 o'clock. Will you be free?
Yes.
I'm allergic to shellfish and strawberries.
No.
Thank you, Your Majesty. You honor me. And he'll nod at him. And he'll look to the Lord Scrivener. As in, are you staying or coming with me? I'm leaving.
He gets up and just slowly starts shuffling towards the door.
He walks with a more smoother stride. but he basically begins talking to the Lord Scrivener, kind of almost in a very distant but familiar language.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll walk out. And Cade will get up and come and sit down, peeling off the tears of the shirt down to his bare chest, looking shocked and like, oh God, wow.
Mhm.
Anyone going to bother telling Iris she can come out now?
Nah, you live there now. These are all men folk. There are no women here.
Yeah, they can still knock.
He might feel a little bit better when Maurice pats him on the shoulder.
Oh, yay!
Like, I'm sorry, you're tortured. Here, perk up.
You're so lucky I just vowed not to hit myself today. Can I come back to the courts now?
Yes, you can come back.
Thank you. I need to go collect my child and think long and hard.
I'll bring you supper.
Thank you. I appreciate it. He'll smile at him. I'm not allergic to shellfish, so. Lobsters and steak, hey.
He chuckles. And then he thinks something and then chuckles louder to himself.
Really?
But no, I just pictured
Oh my God.
teaching my husband how to cook a lobster, a live lobster.
No, that's what I was thinking too. Don't do ever, never do that. Ever do that. They scream, not literally, but you know, they scream. He's gonna think it screamed, and then he's gonna try to save it, and he's gonna burn himself.
Or it's gonna get loose and chase him around the kitchen.
I'll pay you with money I don't have to watch that.
Oh.
At this point, I'm guessing because of the joking around, Iris will peek around the door of the bathroom.
Yeah, everything's cool. Got a pretty tattoo now. He'll look at Rude Boy, by the way,
Uh-huh.
and he'll say, are we okay?
Rude Boy kind of looks at him, kind of glares at him, and just for now.
He'll nod. You can respect that.
Your shirt is torn.
His shirt is gone, darling.
Yeah, he took his shirt off.
Yeah, he took it off, but it's presumably there.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah. So she's looking at the shirt going, your shirt is torn.
Yeah, he'll kind of,
Do you want me to... Yeah, she's going to kind of like hold up both halves and be like, do you want me to fix it? Or should I turn it into something else? Or...
He'll just kind of toss it at her. Like, yeah, you can have it. Bad memories. I mean, good memories. But they're spurning bad ones. But, again, I really do need to collect Christopher and get situated. So, thank you all.
She's going to rummage around in her bag. She was taken to wearing the baby bag that she got, the like infinite room on the inside. So she'll be able to pull out a blanket that looks a bit like stone, and anyone that's I don't know. A lot of people can't really recognize tokens, but some people probably can.
Well, it looked like stone. That's kind of tokenish.
Yeah, it is hedge spun. Yeah, she's going to take out a blanket that looks a bit like stone, and she's going to hand it to him. If you're kind of mortal now, you don't want to catch a cold.
He'll grin and take it. I'll get it back to you. And kind of wrap it around his shoulders.
It is a lot warmer than it should be.
Oh my god. You're not getting this back. He'll say to her. You're not getting this back. Just let you know right now.
You should come by tomorrow so I can get you some new clothes. She'll look at Cade.
I'll smile. It'd be great. You are such a subtle man. Looking at Soren.
Oh, who said that?
Cade, the character who comes up when I talk.
Oh, and he'll just look up and he'll say, "Oh, I'm only subtle when I want to be." He'll just say, he'll wink with his one eye. He still has his eye patch on.
You have no idea how much you remind me of myself when I was younger.
If you don't mind, would you like to talk about that sometime?
I'll nod. There's a reason you can't see one of his eyes in the picture at a game. It just didn't carry over when he came over.
Oh, okay.
I'll show you another picture from when the scene ends. Maurice. I'll give Maurice a look as he's leaving. Give him a smile.
He'll smile at him, nod his head.
When your dance card is a little less full.
Nod, smile.
I'll give him a nod. And he will leave. Does anybody want to say anything to anybody else on camera or in character?
I'm good.
Yeah, I think I'm good too for right now.
I'm good.
Okay, so we can end that very long and amazing scene here. And that would conclude the plot of a True Fae Among Us. So, thank you players for playing, and thank you watchers for watching. Bye-bye!